Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I too would like to welcome our friend and colleague and distinguished former chairman back to the committee. It's always good to see you here. And Mr. Connor, I kind of feel like you are still a part of the committee. You've been a familiar face around here for so many years, so welcome back to this room as well. You clearly know the significance of that the Department of the Interior has to Western states. In particular, you know firsthand the impact that it can have on our lives, our lands. I'm pleased to say that on the basis of your prior service, the opportunity that I have had to observe your work for a period of time, I'm pleased to be able to support your nomination today. I'll look forward to the questions that my colleagues will have of you, but pleased that you have agreed to step forward in this capacity. Dr. Robinson, I'd like to welcome you before our committee. I appreciate the time that you took to meet with my staff last week so that we could ask some questions. I do look forward to learning a little bit more about your work as the Chief Financial Officer there at NASA, as well as hearing your ideas for improving contracting and environmental management within DOE. And finally, to Mr. Binz, welcome also to the committee. I appreciated meeting with you last week. We had an opportunity to discuss at that time that there has been a fair amount of attention, I think it's fair to say, about your nomination, not only coming on as a member of the commission, but as the chair of the commission. So a little extra added scrutiny there, and I think appropriately so. I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, that most of these people in the room and that were waiting outside were not here for the business meeting. So I think it speaks to the significance of the nomination that we have here today to be chairman of the FERC. We recognize that FERC is independent by law and by design. It is clearly distinct from executive agencies that carry out policy directives from the White House. According to the Organic Act governing FERC, commissioners, and this is their quote, shall be individuals who by demonstrated ability, background, training, or experience are specifically qualified to assess fairly the needs and concerns of all interests affected by federal energy policy. So again, emphasis on the true independence that the FERC as an entity should have. Mr. Binz, this committee clearly has a role, therefore, to ensure FERC's continued independence. And it's against this standard that is provided in the Organic Act that I will express my concerns about your nomination to the committee. Specifically, I'm concerned about your role, your view of the role of regulators and how you would lead the commission if confirmed. You've written and spoken extensively about that role, and at this point, I am not convinced that your views are compatible with FERC's mission. It is critically, and I will emphasize that, critically important for us to enable the agency and its professional, nonpartisan employees who report to the chairman as their CEO to maintain its strong culture as an expert agency free of undue political influence. There's a lot at stake with FERC, probably more so than most people would realize. By one rough measure of economic impact, the energy transmitted over FERC-related pipes and wires is worth well over $400 billion per year. Most Americans actually feel that impact of FERC's decision in hundreds of individual cases and controversies. So ultimately, what we're talking about here is money from their pockets and the quality of their energy service. I will also raise my concerns about the coordination that we have seen between FERC professional staff, White House staff, a public relations firm that by its own admission has been retained for the benefit of your nomination by an interest group and lobbyists, at least one of whom I understood you to say you thought might be being paid by the same interest group to advance your nomination. We may not have seen an effort like this before, and I think for good reason. Again, FERC is an independent agency. It must remain an independent agency. So this kind of paid effort for and with the cooperation of the nominee should not become the new normal. So I will look forward to hearing your response, Mr. Binz, to the concerns that I have raised. I know others will raise issues as well. This is an important part of the process for any nominee, to gather information not only directly from you in the venue of the committee, but also from the questions that will be submitted to the record afterwards, which I would also look forward to reviewing as well. But I thought it only appropriate at this time to be able to raise my concerns so that we could have more fulsome conversation throughout the hearing. With that, Mr. Chairman, ready to go?
Thank you, Senator.